Hello Wolfpack, got a short little video here today. I don't want to take up too much time because my microphone isn't actually working. You'll notice the sound quality is quite low. Also because of the fact there isn't really a massive amount to talk about on Bitcoin today, but I do have a structure that I want to go over. It's going to be a quite short video. I'm doing that on purpose. I don't want to repeat the same information over and over again. If you don't know my opinions on Bitcoin, here are my opinions. Based on the 4-year cycle theory, I think Bitcoin will be going downwards. I think it will continue to go downwards towards the 200-week SMA, and it will reach that level anywhere within the next few months. I think it will reach the macro bottom, wherever that may be. Might be at the 200-week SMA, might be below that at around November, give or take a few months, right? So that's basically my opinion on Bitcoin. That's been my opinion since all the way up here at 60K, right? So this isn't a new opinion. This is actually a fairly old opinion. In fact, I was one of the first people in the market to call this. And so we're just doing exactly what I've expected at this point. But right now, boring price action, right? That's undeniable. I mean, we've just been in the same region for about 2 weeks, over 2 weeks now. And it leads people to assume, well, what's happening now? Why are we doing this? Why are we just chilling in this region? I said yesterday, we'll most likely see a breakout by today. It didn't play out. And one of the structures that I was looking at yesterday is actually invalidated. Now we're going to be looking for a new structure. And I have found a new structure that is intact and probably what we're seeing right now on the shorter term chart. Before we even get into that, I do want to take a look at the longer term scale. What is so important about this level for Bitcoin? Well, 28.6K is the macro low that we saw over here, right, and throughout all these regions and over here. So it is basically like the line in the sand for Bitcoin, right? Before we got above this line, we'd never been there before, and now we're just kind of holding this line for support. And you can imagine if we lose that line, there's going to be quite a sharp drop to the downside. And based off TA, this is the interesting thing about that 24K prediction based on the 200-week SMA. The 200-week SMA right now is at 22K. Everyone's heard about it at this point. If you watch any Bitcoin videos, you know what 200-week SMA is. It's the macro bottom for Bitcoin that has bottomed out in 2015 and 2018. Now, the 20-week SMA is at like 22, 23K. That's only at this red level here, right? So that's like here, right? And if we delete all these yellow lines I've just drawn in, if you can imagine, if Bitcoin loses this red line that's held it up for literally almost 2 years at this point, right? Almost 2 years, a year and a half to 2 years, right? Why do you think it will just, it doesn't really make sense for it to go just down here and then bottom out? So there is a lot of evidence at this point to kind of support the fact that maybe it's going to go below that. I've spoken about that extensively in the past. You guys know what I think about that. I think that evidence is very plausible and it very well could do that. However, I'm not going to jump to any conclusions until we get there. When we get to 200-week SMA, we can decide because we will know how it's going to react to it based on the price action around that region, right? If we drop below 200-week SMA, then we're going to be, we're in for basically a 12 to 14K Bitcoin as the next major level of support. It doesn't show it on the Binance chart, but the next major level of support is down like 12 to 14K. So I think that's interesting to talk about, right? What makes you think? I mean, all we need to do really, let's just delete all these lines, and then we can flip over the chart. All I need to do is flip over the chart to kind of understand this, right? This is Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin chart flipped over. If we break this red line that's held for resistance on the inverted chart for like 2 years, right? Why would we only go here and then jump around and then go back up? It doesn't seem to make sense, right? Logically speaking, based off TA, we should go a lot higher, right? Which if we flip back to the normal chart would be the same thing as going a lot lower. Right, that's what I would assume would happen based off TA. But obviously, it's not really only about TA. It's about the macro trend as well. The macro trend does suggest at this point that we have to assume the bottom will be a 200-week SMA. It's just food for thought, though. It would be a bit of a pathetic drop downwards if we lose 30K after all this time. We just go down another 20%. Like that's not much of a drop. When you lose a macro support level, you don't go down that low, but that shallow. I mean, so that's interesting, right? I don't want to talk too much about that because it gets people thinking I'm like this crazy person who's predicting 5K Bitcoins. Like that's not the case at all. In fact, I've said the 200-week SMA is my prediction for months and months and months. I'm not going to change that. I'm just saying there's a decent chance we drop below that. I mean, especially considering the global economic situation. You guys know all about this by now. I speak about it all the time. But that's what Bitcoin's looking at the daily chart. And what is it compressing us? So we've got, obviously, from a downside, 28.6K is the compression zone. From the upside, the compression zone is actually stemming from the volume profile. We can see there is a massive spike in the volume profile around that 33K region. And we're quite literally sandwiched between that 33K region. Let's go ahead and draw a red line there. Right, we're very much sandwiched between these two regions here. We're just kind of bouncing around, and you can see that every other time we've tested these price levels, let's draw up 33K again. We've kind of only wicked down into this region. This is a region which we go sharp wick and we bounce back up straight away. Right, we sharp wick into it and then we bounce back up straight away. And this time we're actually consolidating within it. So that alone is enough to assume it's going to break eventually, because that's showing us that hey, unlike the last times we did this, unlike the last times we dropped below 33K, where we just were there for like 12 hours and then we jump back out. we're actually spending weeks in this region. So it's showing us that, hey, the support isn't lost yet. That's for sure. It's not lost yet. We're still holding it, but it's much weaker now than it was back on these two occasions because of the price action. That's what the price action suggests. So right now we're essentially sandwiched between 33k and 28.6k. Now that we've established that, we can move on to the hourly chart, which is a shorter term time frame. We can start to make some preliminary judgments about Bitcoin. So what we're seeing, right, is this strict consolidation in this region, right? Strict consolidation, just sideways, nothing's happening. And obviously the calm before the storm is very much what's happening here for Bitcoin. And I think that's going to be the title of this video, the calm before the storm, because there really is going to be a storm coming, whether it be to the upside or the downside. You don't consolidate like this unless something big is coming. Go back to the daily chart, we can see, just bring up the Bollinger Bands, we have the evidence of that already. Bollinger Bands are compressed as you will ever see them. They are so tightly compressed. There is a move imminent here on Bitcoin. Imminent, right? It will be happening anytime. I wouldn't even be surprised if it happens by the time this video comes out, But again, I don't want to get too ahead of myself because we've seen compression like this before. Sometimes it takes a few days. So just know that on the longer term time frame, this is an imminent move. Now, it might not be in the next hour, but it might be in the next few days for sure, basically. And so, now that we understand that it's very compressed, what is the scenario here? What happens here? Well, we have a descending channel formation, okay? The descending channel formation is showing us that this top yellow line is currently being tested for resistance. If we break out of this descending channel formation to the upside, that would be a clean breakout to the upside that will most likely lead to at least 33k on Bitcoin. Okay, now I've talked about scenarios in which a dead cat bounce could take us all the way up to 40k, right? And if you want to hear more about that, you can go check out my last video. And it sounds ridiculous to say that, but it's very much true. We could very well see a 40k and 42k dead cat bounce, which would drag us closer towards our predicted November bottom. It's not completely necessary, but if we're following the 2018 fractal, that very well could happen, and there's a lot of evidence for that. So if we break to the upside, just know that we could go as high as 40k, maybe even 42k. We could do it. Doesn't mean it doesn't have to happen, but it's very much logical. It could happen. And then obviously, if we come down, we reject here, we go back to the downside of a channel. We're looking at a breakout below 28.6k. It doesn't matter what happens at the bottom of the channel here. The fact of the matter is we would have broken that major support level, and hence we would have broken this macro support zone, and hence we'd have to fall downwards to the nearest support below that, which is going to be coming from around 24k, right? So again, pretty much you can pretty much sum this channel up, and all you can do actually is delete the bottom channel line because it's not really relevant, right? Not yet at least, and you can actually go ahead and say, this is basically a descending triangle formation, or look at it like that at least, even though it's not really that. And you can say that, hey, whatever happens here, if we break the yellow line first to the upside, that's an upward swing. That's going to cause a dead cat bounce. It's probably going to last a few weeks at least. And then if we break to the downside here, and these are just predictions, remember, break to the downside here, break below 28.6k, that's going to lead to extended price action to the downside. And I think that even if we break to the upside, even if we see a dead cat bounce, it's in the name, dead cat bounce. I think eventually we'll come back down and break this to the downside anyway. So long-term bearish, doesn't matter. Short-term, it's all resting basically on the imminent future, right? This could happen anytime within the next, I'm going to do this very literally this time, okay? Because yesterday I took a guess. Very literally speaking, right? Right now it's the 29th of May, right? So that's 24 hours. Okay, so quite literally within 43 hours. 43 hours is the maximum amount of time, according to the structure, that we can consolidate on Bitcoin without making a move. So in the next 43 hours, there will be a decision on Bitcoin, either below 28.6k or a dead cat bounce from this region, right? That is very important. Within the next 43 hours, as I'm talking right now. Right, guys, so that's the video today. But stick around for a second. I want to show you some stuff. So here is the Wolves of Crypto YouTube channel. What you can do is you go ahead and click the join button and you can sign up to Wolves of Crypto V.I.P. What you will get for that, you get an altcoin trading signal every second day. We're pulling intense profits from that region, from that trading signal, sorry. We've got prioritized reply to comments. I'll prioritize replying to your comments over regular subscribers' comments. We've got a 2-hour video on market psychology you'll gain access to immediately that's not available to regular viewers. And you'll get a weekly newsletter access. So every week, I post a newsletter exclusive to the VIPs, except for the first one, which is coming out on Monday, which will be free to all. But other than that, exclusive to VIPs, short document, short PDF newsletter that will give you access to basically a short transcript on everything that's going on in the market that is relevant to you that week. You also get loyalty badges and custom emojis next to your name. Next of all, the BitGet Exchange. Now, this is my second favorite, right, exchange that I use alongside Binance. Binance obviously being my favorite exchange. I use that preferably most of the time. However, it doesn't make it any less viable, right? What I use this exchange for is extremely different to that of Binance. I use this exchange for futures trading, right, which is not available to me on Binance. This exchange actually offers me something that I can't do on Binance, and so I need to use it. And I highly recommend you guys use it as well if you want to avoid KYC. This is a non-KYC exchange. It also has lower fees than Binance. So although I say Binance is my favorite exchange, that's just because I use it the most for spot trading. But this actually has lower fees than Binance and it's non-KYC. Completely different use case, and some would say even a better use case. So go ahead and sign up to BitGet using my referral link in the description below. For the VIP group, we use Binance and BitGet. And if you're going to join the VIP group, you want to sign up to both of those and use the referral link for the BitGet Exchange, Wolves of Crypto referral link in the pinned comment or the description below. Next of all, if you want to take advantage of the bear market, the boring price action we've seen there for the last 2 weeks, you could have been doing something productive. What could you do? Well, you could learn how to trade. And that's why myself and Megawell Crypto, a fellow analyst, have created the Become a Trader course, a 10-unit course on market psychology, on technical analysis, on fundamental analysis, mainly focused around trading and how to trade and how to find trades. What is a triangle? What is an indicator? What is a MACD? What's an RSI? What do they do? All those questions answered in this course, literally everything you need to know about trading. And you can go to the website here and check it out more extensively. Ultimately, you can send an email to cryptoacademycourses@gmail.com and we'll send you all of the relevant payment information as well as a format for what the course actually looks like so you can see what it looks like before you purchase it. Without further ado, I'll end the video there. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully tomorrow something's happened. Let's wait and see. Catch you in the next one. Cheers.